Well, welcome back to the shop, guys. We are getting started today on this 1969 Bel Air here over from Pennsylvania. Gentleman talked to us a while ago, wanted us to get some stuff done on it, and we are just now getting around to it. We've had the parts here for a bit. This is a 5-speed swap TKX from a Muncie 4-speed factory installed in this 1969 Chevrolet Bel Air. This car is super cool, super clean underneath. Like, it's kind of ridiculous how clean this thing is. It could quite possibly be a 9,000 mile car. We're not sure. It came from California originally, and then it went to another guy, and then it went to this guy who's having us do the TKX conversion. That way, when he gets his big 454 all put together for it, it's going to just be an amazing car to be driving around. But if you're wondering about TKX conversions, it's a great 5-speed conversion, give you a really good drivable vehicle. Plus, driving around on the freeway is amazing with that overdrive gear, which is the big reason you put a 5-speed into one of these things. Now, we did this previously a year ago or so on a Chevelle, and we are basically doing the same thing again. We're going to show you some of the ins and outs, some of the challenges. We are using a Lakewood aluminum bell housing. These things are super thick, super durable. They do a really good job. The SST Tremec TKX. We're using a Jegs flywheel for the 454 and a good old McLeod clutch. And that should give us everything we need to at least get our baseline. We'll have to get a drive shaft that's different from the original one. We'll get that figured out once we get everything installed into the car. And we got to figure out speedo, drive, and I'm sure there's some other stuff, but you know what, we'll cross those bridges as we go. But we are going to show you the correct way to install one of these. There are things you must do. If you do not do them, your new transmission will sound like it's got a box of rocks. And when you pull it out and send it back to Tremec and say, hey, my tranny sounds like it's full of rocks, they're going to say, yeah, it's because you installed it wrong, dummy, and there's no warranty on it now. So make sure you install these things correctly, or you'll be hating life. Basically, the original Muncie and Saginaw transmissions were a roller bearing on the input and output, and they allowed a lot more room to move than the newer transmissions with the tapered bearing. And the taper bearings have to be within a 5,000ths index of the center bore, the alignment bore of the bell housing, to the back of the engine. And that's a big part of what we do here getting this thing ready. So if you want to see what I do, stick around. Should be entertaining. Dropped my nut. Normally they're in my wife's purse. Not too bad. All right. Ah, yikes. So, 4 screws take off the cover plate, and there's 4 more screws that weren't really attached to anything and hold the boot down. A true Muncie bench seat shifter that somebody didn't like the height of, so they cut it down and welded it back together. And that's the way we do it. Looks like they did that with an acetylene torch, maybe. Cool. Muncie. Very cool. I like this car. This thing's fun. The doors close amazing. Bel Air. Alright, moving right along. I got my cross member dropped out. My park brake cable disconnected. the speedometer cable disconnected, which got cooked by the exhaust at some point. I like to support my engine from the oil pan with a board that goes all the way across the oil pan so I don't make an upding in the oil pan itself. So now we have 4 bolts to pull. We can drop the trans down. These aren't that heavy. I don't know what they weigh. The aluminum case ones are pretty light. They're not too bad to manhandle in and out. Then we'll be pulling our bell. Gravity! This thing really is in pretty good shape.
How solid is this thing?
This thing's gorgeous. I think it's an original 9,300 mile car. Like the clutch pedal pad isn't even worn on it. Like, it's ridiculous. Like, who buys one of these and parks it after 9,000 miles?
Yeah.
Like, it's an amazing car. The body's amazing. I'm pretty sure it's the original paint. There's no rust on it. Like, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, even the bolts in the fender liner are perfect.
It's insane. It's beautiful. Like, where do you find something like this? 'Cause I want 2 of them.
It didn't live in Ohio.
Definitely did not live in Ohio. It would be even nicer with a 5-speed in it.
Oh god, so much more enjoyable with a 5-speed in it.
It's not going to cooperate.
The other nice thing is it's going to be a lot easier to do. You're not fighting...
Oh, there's so much room.
Well, you're also not fighting all kinds of stuck, frozen, rusted... You know, it comes out and goes back together the way it's supposed to.
It literally is coming out and going back together nice and easy, so... I'll have the bell housing off of it here in about 15 minutes. And then I got to collect all the parts.
Yeah.
And
That's interesting.
Let's see if I can do this without an earth-shattering kaboom. Oh, that's better. Going down. Ooh, that trans has been through a garage sale once. M22 close ratio kit. Add gear oil, $1,500. That was found by somebody somewhere. Oh, that's heavy. Not bad. Bell bolts. Probably gonna reuse those, but those are grade 5s. I may do a grade 8s for that. Just had to hold my tongue the right way. $38.99, $6.21. Ugh. All right. Let's drop Mr. Clutch off of here. Looks easy enough. How hard is it to put headers in these? I'm gonna guess it's gonna be easier with the transmission out of the car. Kill it, but it smells a little smoky. That's a smell you just can't get out of your nose. Those are in tight. Ooh, that guy's on there. Watch it fall off now as I walk away. Let's do this just for giggles, so I don't drop it on my toes. Oh. Oh. That's a lot of thrust. That's not good. That engine needs to come apart. Or it may come apart all on its own. That's excessive. So this engine is not long for this world. Oh boy. Everything always turns out as just a simple do this. Then it turns into something completely different. Sir, do you want to put a crate motor in this while it's here? Oh, there we go. All right. You gotta remember to put that on before I put the flywheel on, otherwise I'll have to pull the starter off. As it is, I'm trying not to remove the starter because it's just extra work. We'll make a phone call to the customer in the morning and let him know about the excessive thrust wear on his crankshaft bearings. We'll see if he wants to do anything about that now, or if he's just going to roll the dice, run it, and you know, it might last a mile, it might last 20,000 miles. You just don't know with something like that. It has excessive thrust.
Thrust bearing.
Thrust bearings. Well, and it's a stick.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, they do that.
Do we pull the pan and put a thrust bearing in it and put it back together? Yeah, it just escalated quickly.
Can you pull that pan without having to pull the motor?
Well, I'd have to. I mean, I'm already all. The only thing more for me to have the engine out is disconnecting the power steering pump and a fuel line and radiator hoses, and the engine's out of the car. So
yeah.
I'm already halfway there. But
sounds like a conversation for tomorrow.
I mean, the oil pan's leaking, and it probably could stand to have an updated rear main seal. And
does it need a rear main seal?
If we're going in there, we get a proper two-piece seal instead of whatever's in this. Yeah, I don't know what kind of I think it looks like just straight silicone.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna go home and check my blood pressure. Move on in life. Poor starter's been just getting cooked. All right, well, we're getting back after this today. Spoke to our customer, and he is actually building a new engine for this. This engine that's in here is a 396 with a 425 top end on it. He's actually building a 454 for it. So we're not going to worry about the thrust forces in this engine. It'll probably get taken apart and something else will happen to it down the line. You know, it's one of those things. Will it last a month? Will it last 10 years? Can't tell you that, but it's something that we look at when we're doing stuff like this, and we want our customers to know these things. So I'm going to go ahead and throw a flywheel in this, and our new bell housing. We have a Lakewood aluminum bell, brand new, nice. These are really reinforced. Hopefully I won't have to clearance this one like I did the last one. Pressure plate bolts, crankshaft bolts, and a McLeod made in the USA. Clutch kit. Nice. So Looks pretty nice. Oh goodness gracious, that's heavy. Drop bearing, pilot bushing, release bearing, installation tool, and a clutch. Man, I got all the background noises going on now. I got radio going and compressors going. That should hold. Heck yeah. Alright, I'm gonna stick this up in here with the old bolts. Housing. We're on the dowels. We should be good to make our measurements. This one's not hitting the flywheel yet.
That's good.
Remember the last one we fired it up, we were like, what's that noise? Oh, great. Tell me when that sweeps one way or the other.
You want me to turn the thing and you look at
Sure.
How about I do the menial task and you do the stuff that
The
requires
stuff that I actually have to think about. Alright, go ahead. Must have good compression.
singing or dancing or doing something to make noises to get rid of the
the
copyright claim from the radio.
Claim in the background, yeah, yeah.
Lesson all you YouTubers.
So we're measuring the index between the crankshaft and the bell housing, and it's looking like we're at about 13 thousandths of a difference. So basically, I turn it around and I find a high point or low point of the sweep, and then I go back and turn it again. So right now we're coming back to our zero, and we were at 13 thousandths. So if this is, keep going.
Sure.
So there's zero. So keep going. And then we're bouncing around a little bit. We actually went past zero there, so we'll probably have to do it again, but keep going.
Sure.
Come on, it's just work.
This is totally in my power range here.
It's above your head, too.
No problem.
So that's 12 there. So we have to do offset bushings to get the bell housing correct in alignment. Otherwise we'll have noise out of the transmission. So,
Sorry, Falco. We were talking off camera about this. It sounds like
well, it sounds like a
all the bits
like a bunch of rocks rolling around in the case. It's horrible.
which is a very common problem for people who skip this step when they do the transmission swaps. Just bolt it all up like a normal transmission.
Well, I bolted it all up the first time, and I ended up having clearance problems between the flywheel
Right.
and the bell housing and the pressure plate and the bell housing up in this area. So I don't appear to have a problem with my flywheel clearance this time, but I'll go ahead and once I figure this out, we're going to need to get some Allen head bolts because the two side bolts won't fit a standard head.
Okay.
So I got to get different bolts for those 2 spots. I think the other 3 will be okay. Sorry, the other 4 will be okay. Because they look to have enough shoulder that a socket will clear. But these 2, it's too close. So it needs to be a shoulder, I forget what they call them, Allen socket cap bolt. Got some more of that intake manifold sealant. Well, go ahead and spin that around another time.
Sure. Sure. I loved it. Just reach up here and do this.
Yeah, up to it.
It's got pretty good compression.
Yeah, it actually ran pretty good. Okay.
You going?
That's the farthest out. Yeah, keep going. And we're starting to come back in. Keep going. I have chips across both of my front teeth from getting hit in the face with that tool. Doing alignment 20-some, probably a little more than 20-some years ago. Let's go another, take it around 90 degrees again. Now it's actually extending out. Keep going. That's 10 thou. Keep going. 15 thou.
What's our tolerance?
I gotta grab the directions. I don't remember what it is. So we're 14 thou off. Luckily, it's vertical, so my measurement is 15 thou farther away from where my setting is on the bottom side. So my bell housing needs to come down 15 thou to be dead on. It's a box in a box. That's what we're looking for. Oh, it's got a shifter on it. We're gonna need an offset shifter for it, but all right, so this is going down 14 thou. So to center it, we want a 7 thou offset dowels, moving the bell housing up, and that should put us within tolerance of less than 5 thousandths is what they require for the transmission. So now that we know that, I'm going to go ahead and take this down. I'm going to install our clutch or the pressure plate to make sure it clears the liquid bell housing, because I had a interference fit right here on the last one of these I did, so I want to check to make sure we won't have that problem. We do need to go to the hardware store and get some shoulder bolts. Not a big deal, but it's a super tight tolerance there because this bell housing is way thicker than the stock ones. So let's pull you out of there. Ooh, that's close. It's really close. Is it gonna hit with the crankshaft bearings in the right spot? That's the real question. Alright, well, hopefully I do this and I don't break the block. Oh, come on, give it back. I'm not sure how I'm going to do that on the other side. Maybe. This one's not in as deep as the other one was, so it might be alright. Maybe I'll get lucky on this side. Nope. Not gonna do it. There's just about everything in this engine bay is in my way to make this one work. Heat the block, but I don't like heating blocks. Not really in an area that is affected by heat, but I just don't like heating blocks if I can help it. I don't think a hammer is gonna do me much good. A big old contraption here with a plastic oil pressure line. Leaves a little bit to be desired. We test fit and my pressure plate clears my bell housing and the flywheel clears my bell housing. Previously it was not the case, but this time it is the case, so I can pull my pressure plate back down, get it out of my way. Got that dowel out of my way. I need to move my radial run out. I had 0 on top and 14 thou on the bottom. So I need to move my dowel pins down 7 thou, which should give me close to 0 radial change. So let's figure out where we're at. Get this dowel out of here. That's going to be rough. Stupid gravity. My big old sockets. I feel like that's not going to go through. I probably could go through if it wasn't a 70-year-old engine. Could probably just drive it all the way through. I might be about to make a mess for myself, but I'm going to try and push it through. Yep, just made a mess for myself. So no, you don't want to try and push them through. Definitely won't go through, not on this side. It might have gone through on that side, but definitely not on this side. Let me think about that. I'm going to think about that for a minute. Well, welcome back to Lucore Automotive Services. We're telling ghost stories today about clutch and transmission replacement. Not really ghost stories, it just is what it is. It takes some work to make them right. That's what this one's here for. This is the 69 Chevy Bel Air, 4-speed, factory 4-speed. I think it's a under 10,000 mile car, which is absolutely mind-blowing to me. That a car this old would only have 10K on it, but the pedal wear and the carpet wear and the dash wear and all that stuff, there's just no wear to it. It's like original. It's not reproduction pedal pads and all that stuff. So the pad wear is what's making me think it's actually a 10,000 mile car, which is super cool because you just don't see that stuff anymore. I'm in the process of removing dowel pins. I already got this one out, which was pretty easy. This one I drove in and it's not going to go through, so we're going to try and weld a nut to it and pull it out. And then we'll move forward from there. Time to realign our bell housing to our engine center line, and then we'll be test fitting everything else. So if you just want to see what I do with this Tremec TKX 5-speed conversion, stick around. It should be fun. At least it'll be entertaining. Ooh, somebody had a smaller noggin than I. I had a pretty productive day yesterday, and this morning I got my hot water heater installed in my house. That was a new adventure for me, doing a tankless hot water heater. Not too hard to do, but it's different than the big holding tank water heaters, which I've done at my rental properties a bunch. But I called one company, they showed up, looked at my stuff, and said they'd send me an email with the estimate for repair. That was a week ago. Never heard anything from them. Had another company show up yesterday, but the night before I was like bored and was kind of tired of my hot water heater dripping on my floor, so I went ahead and just started taking the old one down, putting the new one up. And then this morning, my old water heater that was still kind of working but leaking, stopped working, so I ended up having a really cold shower. Then I finished doing the install this morning on the one I had already nearly installed by the end of the day the other day. Now I got hot water again, which is nice. That's going to be good for the showers. Cold shower got blood flowing though. Let's see if my weld holds on that. It probably won't. Probably a 19 3/4.